Hey everybody, this is Rapid Sports with Jax with the J to the A to the X and X.com. Go over to the website, check it out. We're going to talk about the Chicago Cubs and what the heck did they do. I'm shocked that they let every single one of them pretty much go. I thought they would at least try to sign one person. One. And then he's trying to say he's competitive. But the Cubs did get a lot of they got five guys in the top 30, so we'll see how that plays off at the end. We might talk about some of them. I wrote notes on some of them. Some of them I'm trying to still figure them out. But there is one kind of magical thing that can happen is he can still sign these players in the off season. So maybe he figures they're out of it. Well, they are out of it. So they're out of it. So let me move these guys and get some young kids in the lineup. And he can always resign them back. He's told all of them that they're open to resign here. So there's a possibility that they can come back. I don't want to give any false hope saying I know that, but it is a possibility. And I just have a feeling Baez will be back. I really do. Because even though he said he wanted to play with Lindor, that's the only way he'll play second base if he's with him. I still think it's in his heart to play shortstop. And they were pretty close to signing before COVID hit. And then I don't know what happened after that. I guess all owners got nervous about the money and was wondering what's going to go on. So what I'm thinking is if there's an off season where it looks like there's going to be no interruptions for baseball, he might try to sign a couple of them back. I would be surprised if he wouldn't get one of them. Why wouldn't he? I mean, especially in the case of Baez, he's already sitting there. And you would have Nico at second. That'd be a nice tandem for a long time. Baez is still young. So we'll see how it goes. I think he's most likely. It did seem weird to see Rizzo in a Yankee uniform. I did see his homer. I don't know if Bryant's played a game yet, and Baez's first game is at the time of the taping. He's going to be playing shortstop for the Mets. I guess they're giving Lindor a little bit of a rest. So we'll see. But I'm just trying to figure out who are the people they picked up, because it doesn't look like there are any top guys in the programs, and I'm hoping I'm not destroying their name. But the one interesting guy, and you won't see him play this year because he got hurt, is the kid we got from the White Sox. He's a second baseman. His name, I believe, is pronounced Nick Madrigal. I'll call him that until I figure it out. We'll call him Nicky M. He looks like he's a second baseman. He looks like he's a guy that can make you work in the count. He'll steal you some bases. He's very good defensively. And if you don't sign those guys back, and then you can put Horner at short, him at second, that could be a nice tandem for a long time. I hear a lot about him because of the White Sox, and then they got a pitcher named Bailey Horn, not really sure. And then they got a right-handed pitcher named Cody Herr. But I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go through a couple of these guys. But this Nick Madrigal could actually looks like he might be an interesting prospect. But you won't see him this year because he got injured. I believe he hurt his hamstring. I think he's done for the year. So, and if not, they should probably just rest him, let him start next year, and let him do what he's got to do. So that's kind of an interesting play. The guys from the Yankee organization were actually higher up in the Yankees, with the Yankees. And you got, I believe it was the guy that was, one of the guys was pretty good, but he got hurt really quick. He got hurt too. A couple of the guys that maybe September, they could have been call-ups or whatever, but they got hurt. So you're not going to be able to see them play at all, which is kind of sad. So see them not play. I believe this guy from the Mets, and we just found out about Pete Crow Armstrong. I believe he was a center fielder, if I remember right. But I found out that he got hurt, so he's not going to play. And he was off to a nice start, from what I gather, from what they're all saying. He looks like he might be a good player, but he's another guy when it comes to September, you won't even get to see him. So none of these two players you won't get to see until the beginning of next year. And then the Yankees, they acquired Kevin Alcantara and then Alexander Vizcaino. It's almost like they're ranked pretty high in their organizations. So it's kind of curious to see what they do. But the Cubs, you can tell, are looking for a center fielder. And the one thing that they lacked, even with the Cubs that they have now, was a good leadoff hitter. Fowler was about the best that they had, and I think that was a mistake back then to kind of let him go and not try to work something out. Because he just always seemed to do what you needed him to do at the top. If he needed to hit a homer, a little pop, he would do it. If he needed some average, some bunt, some speed, whatever it was, he always seemed to do it. And when he seemed to let, and I think that's the difference. If you look at the difference from the Cubs playoff team to them, I think he was a big, huge difference when he lost them. So the Cubs need a leadoff hitter. They need somebody to work the count. So especially if you're going to have home run hitters that are swinging at the time, a lot of Cubs struck out a lot with Schwarber and Rizzo, and they didn't necessarily Rizzo didn't strike out a lot. Rizzo was one of the few people that worked the count deep, but you want your 1 and 2 to work your counts deep, so when your 3, 4, and 5 come up, you'll be okay. And I think that's what the Cubs are desperately looking for. So we'll see how it goes. Some of the young guys. I'm going to try to get more information out of the other ones little by little. But Cubs at some point, because Poyer keeps saying it's a rebuilding year. Now, obviously, we all look at him, and he's pretty much an idiot. That's what we're all saying right now. But if he does sign some of these Cubs back, just say he signs Baez, it just gets him back. And then maybe instead of, maybe he can't because they're free agents. I can't see San Fran signing them. Mets would be able to afford Baez, so you could see it there. And the Yankees, which have been relatively cheap, figure let's get Rizzo in here, see what he can do, see how he changes the team because he's good defensively. But in essence, the Yankees can afford him, but do they want to? And then it depends on what other contracts they. So really, the best situation for them would be to go back to the teams that they were on, at least 2 of them, you would think. They can grab 2, they can grab Rizzo, and they can grab Baez back, and then you have your decent infield that you had, and then maybe find some other players, and then you got all the young kids that you picked up too, which would be kind of nice. But I could be pipe dreaming. Sounds like I'm pipe dreaming. But to see all 4 of them players go, and then I'm sitting here, I'm saying, you know what, I'm a Cub fan. I got to watch the team and watch the lineup. And it's like the only thing I look at this lineup and I say, Hayward's making all this money. And he's an average player, a little better than average player if you want to be generous. He wasn't worth it. And I think he was the second phase of the Cubs that kind of messed the organization up. They could have gave that money to Fowler and probably a little less, and they probably would have been better off, except for they decided to go for Hayward. And I know what their thinking was at the time because he was on the Cardinals. So let's take him away from the Cardinals. So by process of elimination, we make ourselves better. We weaken the Cardinals. That didn't work out. But in the end, I guess it did because they finally did get their 1 World Series, which is what you wanted. So we'll see. And then you hear in the rumors that the Cubs offered them this, offered players this. And even Brian said nobody offered me any big contract because if they were talking about $200 million, Brian said he would have accepted that, But anyway, we'll see how it goes. We'll wait till we have all till next year to find out. Let's see what the Cubs have. Let's see what they're thinking. I'm afraid to know what they're thinking, but we'll see how it goes, and we'll take it from here. Anyway, just a wrap at Sports with Jax with the J to the A to the X at X.com. Go over to the website. Hey, if you get a chance, leave a comment, throw a like, and subscribe. All the above. Talk to you later. Bye.